Everyone to kindly be seated. And for the benefit of all those who have joined us now, I would once again like to take this opportunity to announce about the wonderful prizes to be won in the lucky draw today at the end of the event. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 prizes to be won for each session, that is session 2, session 3 and session 4. We will be distributing forms in each session with a small questionnaire. You are requested to kindly answer those questions and fill in your name and your contact details and hand over the form either at the registration counter or on my right hand side to the support staff seated here. We will be having the lucky draw at the end of the day before the closing, and all those who are present at the time of the lucky draw will be eligible for those prizes. Thank you, and we are awaiting the arrival of our Honorable Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, and other dignitaries who would be joining us any moment now. Thank you. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Vivek Bansalji, Director, CFA, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. A round of applause to welcome Honorable Chief Guest and a Guest of Honor, Shri Sanjay Agarwalji, ITS Director, Directorate of Coordination, Police Wireless, DCPW, Ministry of Home Affairs. Namaskar and good morning. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Vivek Bansalji, Director, CFA, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. Our Guest of Honor, Shri Sanjay Agarwalji, ITS, Director, Directorate of Coordination, Police Wireless, Ministry of Home Affairs. Our esteemed dignitaries, senior officials, distinguished policymakers, telecom operators, infrastructure providers, technology leaders, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Bharat Exhibitions and Broadband India Forum, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to each one of you to the 3rd edition of the Broadband India Summit 2025. This year, ladies and gentlemen, we come together under the theme Connecting the Unconnected, Bridging the Gaps with Wireline, Wireless and Satellite Solutions, with a shared vision to accelerate India's broadband revolution. As India journeys towards a truly digital economy, broadband connectivity is the very spine of progress, powering governance, commerce, innovation and inclusion. Today's summit brings together our finest minds and leaders from the government, industry and academia to deliberate on scalable strategies and cutting-edge innovations. And ladies and gentlemen, to invoke the divine blessings and to mark the auspicious beginning of today's summit, may I invite Honorable Chief Guest and our eminent dignitaries to kindly join us for the traditional lamp lighting ceremony. May I invite Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Vivek Bansalji, Guest of Honor, Shri Sanjay Agarwal. I invite Shri Manoj Tandon, Director Project Operations and Maintenance, RailTel Corporation of India Limited. Shri Puneet Garg, President and Group, Wireline CTO, Reliance Jio. Shri Rahul Vats, Director, OneWeb India and Chief Regulatory Officer, Bharti Airtel. Shri Kiran Kuchi, Founder, WiseSeg Network and Professor, IIT Hyderabad. Shri Sachin Deshpande, CTO and Chief of Field Service Delivery and Head of Business Solutions, Tata Play Fiber. Mr. Shashidharan, MD, Bharat Exhibitions, and Brigadier Anil Tandon, DG, Broadband India Forum. And let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, on the ceremonial inauguration of the 3rd Broadband India Summit 2025. May I request for a group photograph? Thank you. Thank you. I would request all our dignitaries, honorable chief guests, guest honor, to kindly grace the stage with their august presence. Inviting on stage our honorable chief guest, Shri Vivek Bansalji, Director, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, Guest of Honor, Shri Sanjay Agarwal ji, ITS Director, Director of Coordination, Police Wireless, Ministry of Home Affairs, Shri Manoj Tandon, Director, Project Operation and Maintenance, Railtel Corporation of India Limited, Shri Puneet Garg ji, President and Group Wireless, CTO, Reliance Jio, Shri Rahul Vats, Director OneWeb India and Chief Regulatory Officer, Bharti Airtel, Shri Kiran Kuchiji, Founder, Wisec Networks and Professor, IIT Hyderabad, Shri Sachin Deshpande, CTO and Chief Field Service and Delivery Head of Business Solutions, Tata Play Fiber, Mr. Shashidharan, MD, Bharat Exhibitions, and Brigadier Anil Tandon, DG, Broadband India Forum. Distinguished guests, esteemed dignitaries, and respected participants, a very warm welcome to all of you. And to set the tone for today's high-level deliberations, it is my privilege to invite a pioneer in digital advocacy, Mr. Shashidharan, Managing Director of Bharat Exhibitions, a veteran in India's ICT and telecom space. Mr. Dharan has consistently curated impactful platforms that drive innovation and policy dialogue. Under his visionary leadership, Bharat Exhibitions has become a trusted name in enabling industry-government partnerships and advancing India's digital transformation agenda. And may I request you, sir, to kindly begin the proceedings with your welcome address.
Welcome, Rahul. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the third edition of Broadband India Summit 2025. Nice to see the various stakeholders on the stage, off the stage, which we are going to discuss the next wave of broadband. I mean, connectivity to each and everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome our chief guest, Shri Vivek Bansalji, Director, CFA, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. Guest of honor, Shri Sanjay Agarwal, Director, DCPW. Agarwal sir, when we started our company, we did the first event for you in 2003. That time, BSF IG Kamlesh Deka Sahab used to be the director of DCPW. So that's where the Bharat exhibition started the journey. So I'm nice to see you here today. Puneet Garg should join any time now, who's the president of Jio. Manoj Tandon, Director Projects, Operation and Maintenance of Railtel Corporation Limited. Rahul Vats, Director OneWeb. Now everybody's eyes in satellite broadband, how it's going to happen and what. So I'm sure Rahul is going to tell us what is the next. Professor Kiran Kuchi, a good friend from the industry, who is also the founder of Wisec Network, a professor at IIT Hyderabad. Professor sir, welcome to the Broadband India Conference. Sachin Deshpande, CTO Tata Play Fiber, have a lot of things to share on this. And our event partner, conference partner from BIF DG, Brigadier Anil Tandon. India is entering a new era of connectivity. As well as we all know, satellite broadband is coming to India, having secured the necessary permits and clearances. Government is working on finalizing the terms of allocation of spectrum. Commercial services are expected to begin by November or December, which we will see from the speakers when it is going to be really launched in India. It is going to reshape India's digital future, especially for regions where traditional fiber or mobile network fall short. The total number of broadband subscribers have gone up from 924.7 million at the end of March 2024 to 94412 million at the end of March 2025. This is the TRAI data. The Indian government has repeatedly kicked off the BharatNet Phase 3, a massive rupees 1.3 trillion initiative aimed at connecting 0.6 million villages with high-speed optical fiber-based broadband within the next 3 years. The rollout includes linking every Gram Panchayat and rural settlement with the optical fiber cable network, as well as upgrading mobile towers to ensure faster connectivity across the board. There was a time when we started, there was a PCO phone, then we used to write in our visiting card PP, Padosi ka phone. From there, PP, PCO to PP, and now your own handset. So look at the way the technology has grown from where to today and where we are. Now we are moving to the satellite. So ladies and gentlemen, I would not like to take much of a time on this, and let's listen to the operators and the distinguished speakers on the dais, what next from the broadband and how to connect the unconnected in this country. Thank you so much.
Very much indeed, sir, for those warm words of welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a respected telecom technocrat and visionary, and request you to please join me in welcoming Shri Puneet Gargji, President. He's not here yet. So we are now honored to welcome Shri Rahul Vats, Director OneWeb India and Chief Regulatory Officer at Bharti Airtel. Mr. Vats is widely regarded as one of India's foremost authorities in satellite communication and regulatory frameworks. With his deep expertise in spectrum management and next-gen connectivity, he will now shed light on India's expanding satellite broadband ecosystem and the promise it holds for the last mile empowerment. So ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to the address by Mr. Vats, and let's put our hands together to welcome him.
Friends at the dais, and people out here, for a nice invite by Mr. Shashidharan, and thank you BIF for letting me speak on this. So we have been hearing about satellite communication for long now. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, the Tesla was launched, so it reignited the discussion on where is the satellite and was satellite and Tesla linked or not linked. But let me start by saying why do we need satellite and where are we currently. If I look today in terms of, let's start from the terrestrial, because we spent 30, 35, 40 years. Ashish sir was led the revolution through BSNL also earlier, his avatar. So today, if I look at our own situation, and Brigadier Tandon is also there, who's been part of such massive rollouts, 99% of the country is today still covered by 4G, right? That's the real population coverage in terms of 4G. If you look at 5G, I think it was the fastest rollout seen anywhere in the world. Around 350,000 sites rolled out in around 2.5 years, which meant that we have, as Airtel itself, I can say, we have covered around 7,000 towns, more than 20,000 villages already covered, right? To do all this, I think more than 2 million kilometers of fiber has been put in across the country. So huge amount of work has happened. We are seeing data explosion rate as 26 GB per user already being consumed by the consumer. So why then we need the satellite communication today? It is that 1% not covered. It is these deep rural belts, it is these areas in tribal areas, it's these locations where we are still not able to reach. Could not have telecom or USOF reached? Of course it could have reached, and it has reached. As Airtel, we have participated in USOF tender across 15 states. I cover around more than 4,000 villages. I personally cover through USOF to try and reach those villages. These are very deep interior areas where To reach these 4,000 sites, I had to put my own road network of around 800 kilometers. So USO site subsidized only for the tower, but to reach that site, I put up 800 kilometers of my own roads. I put around 2,000 kilometers of my own fiber. Why? Because the cost of backhaul is so much in terms of percentage of SUC. I'd much rather put a fiber and be happy and secure for the future. So we have done all that through USO also. But in spite of all these efforts, there is a large gap which still remains in terms of coverage of what you can do. The technology has changed. The chip has miniaturized. Satellites are able to carry much more payloads. As a result of which, we have got the low Earth orbit satellites, which is the current flavor. As OneWeb, we have been an early initiators of this process. We started around 2016. All our satellites were about to reach in 2022, and then the Ukraine-Russia war happened, and then we got stuck with Russia, satellites being with Russia. So we came back to ISRO, and ISRO was kind enough to help us to put 72 satellites back in space through the rockets. And so our satellite constellation is now complete. We are able to give more than 100 to 200 Mbps speed with a latency of less than 50 milliseconds. So this opens up a vast new use case in areas which are hitherto uncovered. Right? There may be rural bank branches, for example, which are not covered through a network today. Right? There may be use cases for education, telemedicine, which are still not addressed. I was debating with my colleague Shruti yesterday, who's also there, and she was telling me the real point of telecom is that a person who is in a rural area should have same access to telecom as a person sitting in the city. A person who is accessing a doctor sitting in a home in a city should have the same access if the person is trying to access it from a village area, if he can get in touch with a specialist. So that is really where we want to reach, and that has not happened, which opens up the opportunity for us in terms of the satellite communication which we are talking about. So the constellation is ready. OneWeb is ready. We understand Starlink also has got a license now. We were the first operator to get a license in India. We were the first operator to get the authorization from the space regulator called InSpace. That all is in place. We were the first operator to get a provisional spectrum to start rolling out the services. We are also the first operator to have completed the security testing, for our constellation. So all we await now is a final policy resolution when we can start rolling out. And why is that important? Because unlike telco networks where you can take out the radio, put back the radio, I cannot put back the satellite up and down again and again, right? And satellite does have a shelf life. So if I keep on waiting for 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, there will become a time that the satellite itself may not be as useful for me as I intended to be. So what is required for us as investors and as people who want to roll out services is predictability in terms of the policy regime and certainty of when these clearances are going to be in place for me to be able to roll out the services. So those are two important aspects. I think government is in the process to do that. TRA has already recommended, and we hope that this process is completed quite fast. The other thing about satellite which I want you to know is India is in a very unique situation. With our position where we are geopolitically, India can be used as a service to service satellite needs for all the surrounding areas. And satellite does require a gateway to be put up. And we have been requesting the government that allow the gateways in India to serve, let's say, neighboring countries. Why not Bangladesh? Why not Sri Lanka? Why not, islands which are there, Maldives, for example, Nepal, for example. And I think government has been kind enough to also consider that, and we are hoping that a policy announcement will also follow on allowing the Indian gateways to serve regional connectivity for the regional countries. Now, these are very important decisions because once these are in place, we can really start using these services. But I still want to come back to this point and say that you have to see satellite as a complementary to what you have existingly already rolled out in existing networks. And that's a very, very important part. Why? Because if you are able to use it in a complementary manner, then you are really able to percolate down to the last village, down to the last place where you want to reach. While I talked about satellite, what we also need to do in terms of connectivity for terrestrial is to look at the earlier TRA recommendation, which talked about, incentives in form of license fees for wireline services, which can really propel the next phase of growth for these networks. So if these policies are in place, I'm sure connectivity is something which will be absolutely available to all the customers at any time which they want to, use it for. With those words, thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, We honor to have with us a celebrated technologist and academic, Professor Kiran Kuchi, founder of Wisig Networks and professor at IIT Hyderabad. Professor Kuchi has been instrumental in India's indigenous 5G research and development, an inventor, educator, and innovator. He stands at the intersection of academia and industry, pioneering broadband solutions rooted in AI and local innovation. We now invite Professor Kuchi for the industry address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests on the dais. I've learned quite a few things in the last year or so while doing pre-commercial rollout of the products that we developed, that is 5G developed locally, of course with support from government substantially. I was just having a chat with Brigadier sir. He was asking about some things. For the first time, I was able to see a true convergence between multiple technologies happening very rapidly. That we haven't seen in, especially on the infrastructure side. The phones that we carry, I don't know about you, but I use this hotspot on quite a bit, including, on my way here, I took a long 30-minute call. So it's a Wi-Fi hotspot running on a 5G link. So we almost take it for granted that we don't think about this convergence that has become part of our daily lives. But at the same time, the same convergence is happening not just at the device level, at the infrastructure level, at a large scale, very quietly that's happening. The first major convergence that we see is fixed wireless access. 5G and Wi-Fi have more or less converged on the radio access side, to say, or the network side. It's mind-boggling amount of fixed wireless access installation happening across the country. And this takes us to the central theme of today's discussion, BharatNet, satellite, and complementary technologies. With fiber reaching most of the gram panchayats, and then there is this push to taking fiber to the home. Now there is always room for alternative technologies, especially when you take the last mile. That's inevitable. 1%, 2%, 3%. You can put a number of the entire population. You need alternative connectivity. This is where the true convergence and the large scope for new innovation really lies in. 5G and fixed wireless access is the first success story addressing this last mile. And imagine a geographical territory, whether it's Northeast or Himalayas or Pondicherry, or even tribal areas of Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. There's no way you can assure to put fiber in every home or village. Just, there are restrictions of different kinds. So satellite connectivity now is ripe, and OneWeb and Starlink and others are ready to launch. So I'm very eagerly waiting to actually infuse or merge these three ingredients into one recipe. That is, use OneWeb, if they permit me to do so, or Starlink, to use it as a backhaul to the 5G system that we built. In areas where we can take this 100 Mbps or 200 Mbps or 300 Mbps line, and this can be extended to hundreds of homes in a remote area using 5G BSNL mid-band or whoever else holds the spectrum, and the last mile through FWA. And the story is more or less seamlessly complete. And this can be done with almost no extra added cost. Zero extra added cost in terms of provisioning your network to fuse satellite as a backhaul, fixed 5G, BTS, fixed wireless access, and multi-hop Wi-Fi, 1 hop or 2 hops from FWA terminal to the home. This is actually a reality. And we do that, we work with this in our pre-commercial pilots. So I'll be very brief. Very happy to see this true convergence coming along. And I think the next year or two is going to be transformative in bringing broadband to the citizens using many different technologies fused together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is a privilege now to invite Shri Manoj Tandon, Director Projects, Operation and Maintenance, RailTel Corporation of India Limited. His pioneering work in expanding Wi-Fi infrastructure has been instrumental in enhancing connectivity across the country. During his tenure at RailWire, Broadband crossed 500,000 customer base and introduced various value-added services. Before joining RailTel, he has worked in various telecom companies and delivered many greenfield telecom network rollouts and transformational projects for continuation evolution of end-to-end network automation, consisting of service assurance and surface fulfillment stacks to strengthen NOC's capabilities to ensure agile and efficient management of network service and customer experience of all telecom verticals. Ladies and gentlemen, please extend a warm welcome to Shri Manoj Tandon for the special address, and we request you, sir, to kindly share your invaluable insights into the evolution and impact of Wi-Fi technology.
Honorable guest, respected policymakers, dear industry colleagues and media friends. A good morning to all of you. It's very heartening to see the house full. Otherwise, in these kind of events, we see that the halls are not full, but it's a hospitality of Mr. Shashi that he always ensures that everybody is there and the hall is always jam-packed. Thanks to Shashi ji, Bharat Exhibition and all our sponsors of this event for this esteemed event. An event where the vision of a digitally empowered India may find new directions and renewed energy throughout collective wisdom and collaborative deliberations. As we heard in speeches of the past speakers, that the convergence is really now happening with all frontiers of telecom joining hands together. We stand today in a country where the data tariff is lowest in the world. It's home to more than 900 million internet users. And together we have created an ecosystem, a digital ecosystem where we have from ITR to direct transfer of subsidy, from digital payments to telemedicines, from Aadhaar to UPI, from IPTV to streaming OTT. All these are transforming citizens' experience at a very, very large scale, the scale which is unheard in the globe level. Yet, India's per capita data consumption is lagging behind the developed countries. Yet, our fixed broadband network is in single percentage. Yet, internet is seen as entertainment and convenience and not a necessity. The broadband divide between urban and rural, between metro and non-metros still persists. Our mobile-first revolution and low penetration of PCs, laptops, and underserved Bharat, along with digital literacy, are some of the factors of low data consumptions as compared to the developed countries. The digital inequality, if I may say so, have to be bridged for Viksit Bharat. There are a couple of factors which stand out because of which we have these issues. The infrastructure disparities. the fiber penetration in rural areas remains low. And in many cases, they are either not reliable or pretty costly to cover up the sparsely distributed populated areas. The affordability beyond tariffs. Data is cheap, but device is not cheap. We have seen in many places, because as an operator, we are serving in rural areas. On our own, we have covered 17,000 villages across country, across length and breadth of country, through micro-entrepreneurship of LCOs in those villages. The fiber reach out to those areas is still possible through collaborative measures. That's what we have proven with our partnership model with the LCOs. But the first time installation regarding ONTs and Wi-Fi routers is still unaffordable in those areas. The consistent power supply is still a key issue in most of the Bharat, primarily on the rural side or semi-urban side. As I mentioned, the digital literacy somehow has gone unnoticed through various channels. So if we want to have more and more internet penetration, if we want to have more and more consumption, this piece also has to be addressed. The relevance and content classification. Without local language, the content and region-specific content applications, internet remains underutilized. Health and education streams. There are hardly any serious attempts which have gone into these two hardcore streams which Bharat needs, country needs today. While the entry of Satcom players into the Indian telecom space, we have now full spectrum available, from fixed to mobile to fixed wireless to Satcom now. I hope that Satcom is not just a technology evolution, it can work as a strategic enabler for digital inclusion of not so privileged Bharat populations. From Himalayas to coastal areas, from deserts to forests, satellite internet can unlock the true potential of unconnected Bharat today. And if we combine this with BharatNet, we are poised to create a multi-layered, resilient broadband fabric for the nation. The societal impact of a broadband is far, far more profound than the infra itself. It drives financial inclusion, e-governance, telemedicine, and job creation. Let's all remember that broadband is not just about Mbps. It's about meaningful access. It empowers a farmer to access weather forecast in near real time. It enables a child in remote areas to attend the virtual classes with the same ease as someone attends at Metro City. It allows an Anganwadi worker to upload health records seamlessly to cloud-based systems. And it helps micro-entrepreneurs in tier 3 towns to join the digital marketplaces. As we look to accelerate broadband penetration across Bharat, our focus must be to ease out the ROW challenges. PPP energy, how do we convert this PPP model into a successful business model? How do we wire up the unwired areas? And how we have converged strategy that treats satellite, fiber, and mobile not as competitor, but as a complementing technology for unified broadband mission. Bharat is not a challenge. It's actually an opportunity to involve, an opportunity to innovate, to collaborate, and to transform. Let's ensure that next wave of telecom growth does not just connect people, it empowers them. Let's build a digital India that includes uplifts and unites across language, geography, and income barriers. Let's not stop until every school, every panchayat, every farm, every home is meaningfully connected. Thank you once again for opportunity to speak today, and let's continue to work together for a powerful, unified, and meaningful broadband mission. Jai Hind.
Much indeed, sir, for those insightful remarks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome a distinguished thought leader in the field of digital infrastructure, Shri Sachin Deshpande, Chief Technology Officer, Tata Play Fiber. With over 2 decades of experience in spearheading transformative technology initiatives, Mr. Deshpande has been at the forefront of India's fiber broadband revolution. As CTO of Tata Play Fiber, he has led innovations that are redefining how homes and enterprises across the nation access high-speed, secure, and intelligent internet connectivity. His visionary leadership has played a pivotal role in building scalable digital ecosystems that support everything from entertainment to education, remote work to smart living. Today, as India surges ahead on its journey towards the digitally empowered society, voices like Mr. Deshpande's bring critical insight and foresight into how infrastructure and innovation must go hand in hand. Mr. Deshpande, we are honored to have you here with us, and may I now invite you for the special address.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, friends from academia and the industry, it is really a pleasure to be here today among the industry colleagues. Thanks always to Shashi, because he really makes sure that the conference is, is having really the participation from entire spectrum of our industry. And really, I'm privileged that, to be a part of this industry for some time now. Today, I think the respected speakers, they talked about the connectivity, part. So I'm going to be a little bit changing the track, while the connectivity is going to be providing the internet to the unconnected. However, as operators, as providers, how do we ensure that the service which is delivered to the consumers is top-notch? And it is really also the time, we are seeing that AI, the artificial intelligence, is actually all around us. And it is transforming the way we are living, the way we are carrying out business, how we are working. So today I am going to be dwelling on how do we drive the customer experience for internet subscriber using the technology. Okay, and at Tata Play Fiber, as a pioneering technology innovation, we have been using these technologies. So without wasting time, getting into the customer experience part of it, you would all agree that superlative customer experience is no longer a choice, it is an imperative. Okay, so when we talk about driving the transformation of the broadband customer experience, we are talking about a few facets which would be important. Not necessarily in any order here, but for example, connectivity. Connectivity today, as mentioned by the speakers here, is really the basic. Okay, so seamless and reliable network connection is like a basic hygiene. Okay, then we talk about intelligence. So any and every ecosystem that we would be using to drive the customer experience must be using the smart technologies so that the service capabilities are enhanced. And I will be talking of each of these legs in detail. Then the most important one, which is really the AI integration now, wherein, how do we incorporate artificial intelligence to drive the services improvement. Also, digital first. To me, this is actually the most important. So as an organization, are we really thinking digital first? Our actions are being driven with digital native or digital first as our thought process, okay? And the data flows, which is really how do you manage your data in order to, see, because artificial intelligence, all of us know, is really critically dependent on machine learning and how it learns the entire based on the smart data flows. So when you talk about customer experience, do you see an iceberg here? Yeah. So all of us know that iceberg, what you see is about 8 to 10% that you see on top of the water. Balance is below. So if customer experience is what we see as an outcome, it is actually made up of these three things. One, the network. As I said, network is hygiene, right? So network uptime, how do we manage that? That is the basic. All of us know, especially as technology people, that whatever you do, surely there will be breakdowns. Now, how do I resolve this? Firstly, proactively. How do I operate my network proactively so that the issues or the failures are minimized? At the same time, if there is a failure, how do I come back faster? So that is the second part. And lastly, the support machinery that we have as an operator, both at the back end, which is customer service call center arena, and the front end, which is the field. How do we enable them using technology? Okay, these are the considerations. A little bit of theory part, which is how do you use artificial intelligence now to carry out the transformation that I just talked about. Okay, so naturally the AI brain, which is the central intelligence, that would always be the repository that would drive the intelligence. Then the network fabric, and I'll dwell upon this, network fabric, how do you make it more and more intelligent? And finally, each and every touch point that the customer faces, how do you make it smart using artificial intelligence? That is how the journey would be. And I'll take one by one. See, the network management, and I was really talking to the seniors from the industry, how the network management has transformed over the years. So from a reactive to proactive and to predictive, which is really going to be the future. So, the reactive network, which was the yesterday's technology, so very, very manual, human intervention led. From there on, the basic thing, how do you select your network for your, the technology for your network? Is it now, increasingly, is it being driven AI? And therefore, I have a smart equipment selection. Either I upgrade my existing network to the AI-enabled networks or select networks which are AI-enabled. Okay? The next one, therefore, it leads to predictive monitoring. So from reactive to proactive to predictive. And this is where the intelligence of AI comes into picture, where it has got, thanks to the machine learning, it would be learning and having the repository of the old faults. It would actually prompt you to the smart troubleshooting, smart network intelligence. And finally, the equipment itself being chosen as a self-healing network that would reduce the downtime. The other part which I talked about is the field operation. So the frontline field teams, who actually are the most important touch point towards the consumer, how do you enable them with technology? Okay, so for example, a new installation today in the world of Uber, Ola, and all other services, the consumer decides when he wants that installation. So we call it appointment automation. So How it helps me is also smartly, how do I, effectively utilize the workforce on ground. Okay. On the provisioning of service itself, the artificial intelligence led network helps me to provision it like a plug and play. Today, broadband at home, only physical activity that happens is a wiring, physical wiring, but the entire service provisioning happens in an automated manner. The AI is today driving this for me. Lastly, on the customer end, if there is a fault repair to be happening, how does the technology is enabling that frontline person through service apps, and so the customer's history of failures, etc., is known to them. Okay, so this is how you would enable the field force. Similarly, on the back end, which is the support centers, call centers, again, see, the approach is now changing. Customers today, especially, India is blessed to be the youth capital of the world. So the young generation of consumers, they are not really used to calling a call center and getting their faults attended. They would want the help to be available at their end. So it starts with giving the self-diagnostic capabilities in the hands of the customer. From there on, if the problem does not solve, then surely they will reach out to the customer support call center. How do I enable the agents? How I provide smart troubleshooting by way of AI as technology, and that helps faster troubleshooting. And lastly, the advent of technologies like chat. You no longer are required to talk to the customer, but the customer would be chatting either through bots or manual supported chat ecosystem. I'm just using two use cases specifically. What we did, when I talked about the call center, we were driving two things. One, a unified platform. See, imagine or remember old days when the call center, if a customer would reach there, they would have to take out data from multiple ecosystems. That would consume time. Today, what we call as a one view is a unified platform. It gives the entire information on single screen to the call center agent. That helps troubleshooting very, very fast. And it is an omni-channel experience. Just to elaborate on this, I'll take 2 minutes. So, we all know that there are multiple systems within an organization which are facing customers. So CRM, the customer data repository, the device management at the customer end, network management system for the network, GIS as a inventory system, and other. So such Omni platform. So today my Omni platform is actually talking to all these systems, and to the operator at the call center, it is actually providing a single screen, one view. Okay, and so when they are interacting with the consumers, it is a much intelligent conversation, and AI is actually making it even better. We saw all the customer facing parameters improving in a big way. So today call center is not a call center but a resolution center, with about 70% of the failures actually being taken care there and then. You don't need to send it to the field. The other use case is what we call as a digital team. Traditionally, the IT systems in any company, how the process happens is that there is a business requirement. The business teams would come to the IT for digital intervention. It would be treated as a new requirement or a change requirement and created as a new solution. We actually turned that around. So the digital team, which is actually made up of people from the line functions, they look at the requirement, they prioritize it. The priority is very, very clear. Compliance, customer and customer facing teams productivity, very clear productivity. As an outcome, then they actually look at, it's a collaborative group. It looks at, it's a single point of decision. build or buy. If there is a ready-made solution available, to do it here and now. It saves cost as well as time. And finally, the ownership with the business. So these are used as use cases. So coming back, this is what I had shown. So the transformation of broadband customer experience, these are the facets. So at Tata Play Fiber, we are really ahead onto this innovation. This is what we are. We would like to call us as a BMW of the customer experience, because that is what drives us as a single goal for towards our consumers. Thank you.
Valuable insights and for sharing the Tata Play Fiber's inspiring vision for India's connected future. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished operator keynote address speaker Shri Puneet Garg, President and Group Wireline CTO Reliance Jio, could not be present here physically due to some unforeseen circumstances, but he has joined us on the virtual platform, and we now invite Shri Puneet Garg for his operator keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. It's unfortunate that I am not physically present there, but this is the real power of internet, where the unconnected is connected. So thanks Shashi in organizing this event, and it is great to see that we are talking a topic called connected to unconnected, and this really has very significant topic, and what we should discuss in today's world, when technology is enabling any part of the world to be connected, then how we can leverage those technologies to connect the unconnected part of India. As we understand, India has 300 million homes. They are residing across 650,000 villages and 4,000 over towns. This 650,000 villages, the best way to connect, because right now through technology, the way we are rolling out technology, it is either based on FTTH or 5G FWA, which is wireless, or something to do with other satellite-based communication as well. So when we are connecting to these villages, it should be such that it is affordable, and it should pass on a message that broadband is for every budget homes. It shall not be the Mercedes of broadband, which is available only for few. It shall be available for all, so that the digital divide can be bridged easily, and we can bring the remotest part of our population to the digital connectivity. That shall help providing the education, skill development, and that connectivity shall help to provide online classes, online tutorials, online teachers accessing the information online, so that they can get connected to the world, and then they can get the maximum benefit out of the digital connectivity. Another important thing which can be extended to this remote part of villages or towns is the health and well-being. So broadband will definitely bring telemedicine, remote consultation, and access to critical health information, which our population can use and drive their well-being. Similarly, the government-led services will also be able to reach into the remotest part of country through this three technology which I spoke about. So let's understand what Jio is doing in this regard. As you know, we are #1 telecom operator of India, with around 500 million customers connected on us between mobile and homes. And we are still spearheading and covering the most part of the country through wireline and wireless technology, being it is FTTH or BWA or FWA, and satellite will be soon. And as I heard Sachin Deshpande talking about customer experience, so one thing is for sure that when we talk about homes and network, there are two changes which are happening. First, we are seeing that now homes are becoming a mini network. What does it mean? What we are seeing, like each home has multiple devices in the home in terms of mobile phone, laptop, iPad, cameras, uh, IoT enabled devices, which are getting connected onto the broadband through Wi-Fi. And if any problem happens in these devices, the user think this is a problem of operator. If any channel is not operating properly, the problem or the experience goes to the uh, operator. So from that perspective, earlier we used to say the telecom infrastructure is based on three major pillars, which is tower, fiber, power. Now that paradigm is getting changed from a broadband perspective into power, fiber, and third domain which is getting added is AI. So AI is a kind of innovation which is happening now and which is taking the whole of the operation to a new paradigm. We are having approximately 20 million homes which we have connected between wireline and wireless technology. And what we are seeing, the homes which we have connected on wireline or on wireless, we are able to provide the same kind of experience through a kind of automation which we have done for each and every home. What customer is experience, we are able to see from usage as well as his service experience. So this kind of thing for our paradigm to connect 300 million homes will not be possible through the normal automation which was available till yesterday, but AI led operation is enabling this kind of experience and demarcation to from a two perspective. One, if customer has a problem in his mini network, if through AI we able to identify what problem are there in his home and we enable the customer to himself take an action to solve an issue which is there inside his home from a broadband perspective, Wi-Fi perspective, or any of his device perspective, that would be a much more self-diagnostic and empowerment to customer in solving his problem itself. And any problem which is outside his home, that we anyway come to know through AI and through automation, and we will be fixing those problems by properly telling customer where the problem is and how we are fixing it, so that it is a win-win situation. One thing is for sure, like no matter what we do, this call center concept or customer calling at call center is a painful exercise. No matter how many people we put onto the call center, the kind of language, the kind of temperament of the agent, etc., will always be a challenge to provide a real quality of service to customer. So if we are able to put an AI-led agent who can talk to customer in their language, in their tonality, and in their emotions, that will definitely help to solve the problem of customer, and by empowering customer themselves so that they can fix the problem at their home by themselves. So first, they are not calling. In the case of eventuality, if they need to call us, then they will be calling to an AI agent, which will be providing a much more pragmatic experience to them, and that will give a real experience to customer from both service continuity as well as usage perspective. Other thing, what we see now, our customer has started using every day, at least the home customer, every day, the same kind of consumption what we see in developed countries like US or Singapore. Our customers started using around 13 to 14 gigabyte of traffic per day. So it means per month they are consuming over 400 gigabyte of traffic, and that goes true for all the developed economy. So point here is when we are offering services to customers, when we are connecting customers, we are seeing usage. There is a demand in the customer to use the content, to uh, use the internet, and with AI coming in, we are expecting this to increase further, and that would be the real happy scenario for all the broadband operator, that how we would be able to provide the AI inferencing solution to customer so that from a latency perspective his experience is always good, and could be 2 point which can happen. One is basically we can put up a layer kind of architecture in which the heavy lifting of data happens at the central site, and all the user interface from customer point of view can happen near to the customer. So this two-layer architecture shall help in providing the real experience to customer, and that shall help in building a network which is cost efficient, that would be putting less load on IP and transport, and that will be able to give a customer sub 10 millisecond latency scenario. And I am visualizing that will be happening soon or shall happen soon. Beside this, definitely what we foresee in the coming future, the AI-led operation, AI-led customer lifecycle will be the real use cases which will give operators a kind of belongingness and closeness to customer, on which the real benefit of broadband can be provided to customer. Coming back to India, if we are able to connect every nook and corner of India with an affordable technology, then we would be able to say a connected India would be a stronger India. With that, I again convey my sincere thanks to Shashi and his entire team in connecting me from Mumbai to Delhi. Shashi, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct honor to welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Shri Sanjay Agarwalji, ITS Director, Directorate of Coordination, Police Wireless, DCPW, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. Shri Agarwalji is a distinguished officer of the Indian Telecom Service, ITS, and has played a pivotal role in modernizing India's emergency communication frameworks. Under his leadership, DCPW has advanced critical communication networks that ensure seamless coordination between various security and law enforcement agencies across the country. His expertise in digital security, strategic planning, and emergency communication systems has significantly contributed to strengthening our national preparedness and resilience infrastructure. We are truly privileged to have him with us today to share his insights on the evolving landscape of security communication and the importance of technological synergy in the national coordination effort. So we thank you sincerely for taking time to address this gathering and for your continued commitment to strengthening India's internet security mechanism. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor, Shri Sanjay Agarwalji.
मंच पर आसीन हमारे वरिष्ठ विवेक बांजल सर, सभी विद्वानगण और मित्रों, 70 के दशक में एक गाना आया था किशोर कुमार साहब का, हर कोई चाहता है एक मुट्ठी आसमान, हर कोई ढूंढता है एक मुट्ठी आसमान। वो गाना इस समय बिल्कुल सबसे ज़्यादा मतलब फिट बैठता है, क्योंकि हर आदमी आसमान मतलब बड़े से बड़ा ब्रॉडबैंड, बड़े से बड़ा ब्रॉडबैंड, और वो पूरी मुट्ठी में ले लेना चाहता है। And thanks to the people who are sitting on the dais, they have provided it to a vast segment the kind of technology which was unprecedented till date. However, the technology has caused a lot of disruption in terms of security. Some we know very well, like Ukraine attacked on Russia through drones, and that was a technological disruption. The other was that in Hezbollah, the handsets got busted with whatever technology disruptions were there. There are many more. I mean, when we go to Naxalite areas, when we deal with J&K, when we go to Northeast, wherever we go, there are so many kind of technological disruptions which we cannot discuss at any open forum. And that creates a kind of sense of urgency in the government to have a secure and powerful network for the security agencies. What is happening today, that the people who are having best of the technologies available and the police who are chasing them or the security agencies who are chasing them, they are yet to upgrade their technology. And as we know that this government, under the leadership of current Prime Minister Mr. Modi, it has taken the initiative to make the India secured. And with that particular perspective, already we have come up with a project like that is called BBPPDR. That is again, BB starts with broadband, and PP is the public protection and disaster relief network. So it is going to be a pan-India integrated network, which will provide state-of-the-art communication, whether it is 5G or 6G or satellite, whatever it is, in the hands of every policeman, every CAPF guy, or even for disaster relief operations, that will be available. And that is a massive project. DCPW is going to lead that particular project. And already some 10 megahertz in 800 megahertz band has been allocated by DOT for this very purpose. And apart from that, we already have one more sort of communication that is completely captive in nature. That is PoleNet, that is satellite-based. We have indigenous Indian satellite. And we have VSAT terminals installed at some 1,000 locations. We have already connected all of the police heads of different states, CAPF heads, and everywhere we are using it. And now it is going to be upgraded to 1,000 more VSAT terminals. And further, we are going to have one newer version of PoleNet. That thing is again in the planning. And that is not only the thing. The point here is that the kind of reach we need in every nook and corner. Recently, we have gone through a very close war-like situation wherein the requirement of such kind of secure network was felt tremendously by everyone. And we got the calls from every state, particularly J&K and Punjab, to augment their technology. My friends who are sitting here from DCPW, they were able to provide the necessary support immediately, and we could deal with the situation, but there is again a need. And when I talked about Ek Muthi Asman, so when Ek Muthi Asman for everyone is a broadband, and the people who are sitting on dais and all of the operators, that Ek Muthi Asman is a spectrum. And that spectrum is very, nowadays, yes, very precious and very important resource. And that spectrum, again, satellite, Wi-Fi, and then 4G, 5G, 6G, telco, and maybe some newer technology may come. So those things are there. But again, we should think in terms of that, yes, there is one more stakeholder, that is government. And government also needs to have some sort of stake in the spectrums for dedicated spectrum, because we are sitting here because we are safe. So unless government has a proper stake, proper security arrangements, and for that, again, we need some sort of leverage in the spectrum. So I might sound a little odd to all of the people who are thinking that in this an hour, one more Bimar has come. So thank you very much. And with this, I conclude my words. Thank you very much for calling me here. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for your inspiring address. Ladies and gentlemen, we now arrive at the key moment of the inaugural session, and it is our distinct honor to invite the Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Vivek Bansalji, Director CFA, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. Mr. Bansal is a highly respected telecom strategist and policy expert with decades of experience in the Indian telecommunications landscape. He has played a pivotal role in transforming BSNL's consumer-based fixed access services, spearheading the major national programs such as BharatNet, FTTH, that fiber to the home, and the digital infrastructure outreach across India's most remote and rural regions. His leadership has been instrumental in connecting the unconnected, enabling high-speed broadband in aspirational districts, border villages and tribal communities, truly advancing India's vision of a digital Bharat. As the country embarks on the ambitious goals under Bharat Digital India 2.0, Shri Bansal's insights on the theme from BharatNet to Satcom delivering digital inclusion at scale are both timely and inspiring. So we are eagerly looking forward to your address. And ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Vivek Bansalji.
Namaskar. My dear friends on the dais and the august gathering of the audience of my seniors, the experts, and also the drivers of what we are discussing for last hour and a half. So broadband for all is the mantra we have been hearing for last few years. And the summit is saying connecting the unconnected, bridging the gap, use wireless, wireline, Satcom, all technologies, and the evolving landscape of Indian connectivity. Now all these words are truly global in nature, but the most important, the most significant, and the most effective word in this whole vision, mission statement is the Indian connectivity. Why? Because in a ARPU of less than $5 a month for a family of say 4, or less than $10 a month for a institution which is having multiple users, for a geography as diverse as it can, ranging a population of an hamlet of 100 homes to maybe a rural village having a population of 10,000 people. And we need all the technologies, the 4Gs, 5Gs, fixed wireless, FTTX, Satcom, everything. And therefore, this convergence is not the choice. It is the need if we want to reach across to everyone. In order to truly live to the statement Indian connectivity at an affordable price to the customer, but also at a commercially viable and sustainable business case for the service provider as well. And all of this converge into only one thing, which is broadband for all, because until and unless we have the volumes, it will not be sustainable. And until and unless we reach to every home, every institution, every nook and corner, it will not be the Indian connectivity. Especially the lower income group stratas, the rural terrain, for the use cases as diverse as CCTVs. Few of those who have not seen villages, please go and visit. CCTV in the rural area is a reality now. To, of course, online classes, which started during the COVID period, the highlights of a match, to the live coverage of the war, the online puja, online darshan, to how to grow kesar in your home. There is a project going on, I have seen in one of the states, where the kesar is actually grown in a home. I had visited that place. And only, I think, day before we have, you must have read that UPI is now the global maximum, the highest transaction, financial transaction per day instrument, at a 650 million transactions per day in a total 2.17 billion transaction per day kitty. And the Visa, who used to be number 1, is now number 2 with 639 million. And why this UPI has become a success? Because it has reached to everyone. The Indian connectivity penetrating across geographies, used by everyone with all kind of diversities we have. My friends who have already given you an insight of what kind of services are being provided, from AI to the customer prospect to the Satcom. I'll touch upon a few things on BharatNet, which has been told by a few of the speakers. BharatNet has, you all know, and maybe a couple of years back it was sometimes mentioned for the wrong reasons also. But in last 3 years plus, it is work in progress for transformation into a network which will not be available only for the customers, but will also be available for all the service providers as well, as a non-discriminatory network which you can use for fiberizing your tower. We have already done few hundreds, to any kind of pipe you want to carry for your content, for your value addition, for any type of use case. So, in the villages, in the rural area, a silent revolution is happening. Now, why I call it silent? Because it is not much talked about. And why I call it revolution is because I'll share you some figures which will really give you the insight on why this is really a revolution. I'm talking about 55,000 odd gram panchayats plus 20,000 odd non-gram panchayat villages. So the figure is total around 75K. In these 75,000s, we have more than 1 million houses, more than 1 million homes which are connected, more than 200,000 rural institutions which are connected. I am talking only of those 55,000 panchayats and 20,000 non-panchayat villages. And in this calendar year, starting from January 1st to June 30th, these million houses and 200,000 rural institutions, it has women self-help groups, it has Anganwadis, they have consumed 900 petabyte in last 6 months. Of course, averaging around 190 GB per connection, but then average sometimes doesn't give you the real insight. 10% of these users are using more than 500 GB every month. 40% are using between 100 GB to 500 GB. 20% are using 50 GB to 100 GB. And then there are the rest 25% which are using below 50 GB. Which means the need of a person sitting in a remotest corner for communication is much more than someone sitting in the metro town, because he doesn't have access to any other thing to connect to the world, to know what is happening, to get what he requires, other than the communication. And therefore, this silent revolution, which is taking shape, is something which we should be proud of. And maybe Shashidharan may have to choose another subject after 3 more summits, because it will already be broadband for all. Thanks to the combined effort of the industry, converging technologies, and going for the volumes which are there. I had visited something around 70-75 villages in last 3 years. And the kind of experience you see in one of the village in Kerala, when you enter inside the panchayat office, and if you are blindfold when you are entering inside, and when your eyes are open, you will find that maybe you are in some IT park. I mean, this is what the panchayat office from inside it is looking. I had visited a panchayat in Telangana. The front room of the panchayat office displays what? In your wildest of imagination, you will not. 3 ISO certificate awarded to that panchayat is the first thing you encounter when you enter into the panchayat. Only last weekend I was in Punjab in one of the village, in one of the school. We have all learned using computer that Control C is something you use for copy, Control A is something you use for select all. The school wall has a big picture of Control A, Control B, Control C. Control B is for making a selected text as bold. Even I was not knowing that what Control B is. This is the kind of ABC our rural schools are now teaching to their students, and this classroom in which I was sitting was class 6. So this revolution is actually penetrating right into the heart of India. We say, Bharat to gaon mein basta hai, right into the heart. And therefore, I am not only hopeful, I am confident that such a convergence, because it is no more a choice, it is the only way out, and such a volume, because again that is not a choice, it is the only option available for the survival of all the stakeholders here and for India to become connected India in true sense, in Latin terms. Thank you very much. I wish all the success to this summit. And please start searching for a new topic, because you may not have another 3 years going with the same. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that inspiring inaugural address. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to formally conclude this impactful inaugural session, I have the pleasure of inviting Brigadier Anil Tandon, Director General of Broadband India Forum, to propose the vote of thanks.